Listen up. You're watching TikToks all day anyway, so why not get paid for it? Ever thought about making money from TikTok but you don't have any followers? Well, forget the 1,000 follower rule. GFN Vault has just changed the game. AFTV and DR Sports have partnered with one of the biggest UK creators, Anthony Owo, to bring you GFN Vault.
Our agency helps you earn, grow, succeed with exclusive support. With 0 following, you can start earning straight away. No gimmicks, no catches, 100% free.
Every big creator started from nothing, including me. So why not you?
Whether that is football, gaming clips, or just chatting complete and utter rubbish, anyone can be a creator, just like me.
So hit the link right now, get involved, and start earning today with GFN Vault. Do not sleep on this.
Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. We're live at 7 as we are every day, unless it's, of course, a match day, and there's a pretty big match day coming soon. It's Real Madrid on Tuesday night. AFTV will actually be doing a watch party from Box Park, so I'm super excited for that. But look, we're going to be live for the next hour or so, and what we're going to do, and I'll give you a little sneak peek now, we're going to build our Arsenal 11, but I really want to use you guys in the comments. Come in with your thoughts around particular players. Let's debate it. Let's not so much talk tactics, but you know, we can delve into that a little bit. I did a tactical insight with Nick that's just come out on the channel, but the big thing I want to do is talk about particular personnel, the makeup of the 11, certain players, positions, how we're going to hurt Real Madrid, but also how do we get some of our best players on the pitch. You know, Kivior played well against Everton, but it's a different question up against Real Madrid and the stellar attack they've got. So I'd love to get all your opinions. We're going to talk about that. We'll touch on some Gyokeres news and a little update there as well. And also we'll just reflect on the Premier League weekend as well, some of the results, the Premier League table, and see where we are on this 7 p.m. Well, in the UK anyway, 7 p.m. on a Sunday. So we will come back to that in just a sec. But welcome to everyone. Jim, big thank you. Big ups to you. We've got people in the comments all joining us for the live. Ojit says he loves what he's hearing. Good. He's excited for the show. Kivior deserves a start. Some people are saying this is all the stuff that we want to discuss in this show. But like I said, we'll talk about the Gyokeres stuff just very quickly. We'll open with that because it was just a quick update that kind of did the rounds on Twitter a little bit. I'm not too sure the original source. Apologies. It might have been, they're called Foot Mercato, I think. Maybe. I could be wrong. Anyway, they said that Gyokeres' agent is going to be in London for the game between Arsenal and Real Madrid, which, of course, has got everyone talking. I mean, the Gyokeres stuff since David Ornstein broke the news. What was it? I think it was Sunday last week, wasn't it? Was it? I think it was. Yeah, it must have been about a week ago now when all that broke. Yeah, it really kind of took Arsenal Twitter by storm, and everyone was talking about it. You know, we obviously discussed it a lot here on this channel too, because when David Ornstein gets hold of some sort of, gets hold of information, and a particular, when there's a particular transfer story in particular he's talking about, then you get the feeling that there's kind of something in it that actually Arsenal, there's a real legitimacy to it, that Arsenal are really kind of looking at a player like Gyokeres. And since then, we've had sort of little bits of information come out around the £60 million transfer fee it might cost, which is far less than sort of other strikers that we're potentially looking at, or in line with other strikers whose numbers aren't quite as good as Gyokeres's. Anyway, they've come out and said that he's going to be at the Arsenal Real Madrid game. Now, you could look at this in quite a few ways. First, you could go, okay, maybe this is really getting moving. Maybe Arsenal are really putting a lot of work in to try and secure Gyokeres ahead of the summer, because it's early April, and already it feels like Arsenal are, trying to get particular business done. We've had all the Nico Williams stuff come out. We've had this Gyokeres stuff, and we know that Zubimendi was a deal that looks, we don't know for sure, but it looks like it might have been wrapped up all the way back in January. So Arsenal may be trying to get ahead after what's been a really disappointing season. The one thing I will say about this Gyokeres stuff and his agent coming to London and all that is, we always see, how do I put it? We often see, do you remember like Jose Mourinho was at the Emirates and people thought that was a sign of something? Do you remember? I think it was when Emery was struggling and Jose Mourinho was at a game. I might be wrong, but let me know, guys, if what that thing was with Mourinho, because I've slightly forgotten now. But you get these sort of things, right, where kind of high profile people will want to go to, in football, that is, actually not just in football, will want to go to high profile games, and Arsenal versus Real Madrid is it's a great, I mean, okay, Arsenal haven't been the Arsenal of last season and the season before that, but we're still a team now welcoming back Bukayo Saka, having what feels like much more of a settled first 11. Well, I say that we rotate a lot for Everton, but as we'll sort of see in this exercise I'm going to show you here on the tactical pad, we can actually put out a very decent 11. And, there will be all eyes on this game between Arsenal and Real Madrid, and he could just be an agent who wants to get to a really big football match in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So there could be nothing to it. We don't even know that's necessarily true. We don't know that he's even definitely going, but there's lots of there has been a rumor report that's kind of done the rounds on Twitter that's kind of worth discussing. So let's see. I mean, exactly this kind of thing, right? Sesko Adrian was at the Emirates last season but never moved. Exactly. I mean, to be fair though, Sean, that kind of shows you that with how public our pursuit of Sesko has been, that shows you that maybe there's actually something to that, to be fair. And actually maybe the idea of the agent kind of going to particular games. Didn't Sven Nipan, this is another one, Sven Nipan and his agent, I think, or was it his family, back in January went to a Man City game, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, it kind of all came out that he wasn't basically going to go to Man City, though he's not made a decision up yet. So he maybe could. Burek says, hi, James. Good to see you. I love AFTV and I would love to see Gyokeres. He is always my first and ideal front man. Love for the love, mate. Thank you so much. Good to get your thoughts on Gyokeres. I think his numbers are sensational. I like what I see of him. Is he perfect? Maybe not, but you could say about almost any player, right? You could say about almost any signing. In terms of when you're talking about the deal, the money it's going to cost, whatever. I think he's my front runner. If we're not getting Isak, then Gyokeres is the one I probably want the most. And yeah, we're going to get into this kind of stuff. We will discuss the 11. What have we got? KD says, Mika Biereth looks a prospect if only Arsenal knew how to spot talent. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? That you look at some of the players that have had. The thing about Arsenal and Hairlane and youngsters, and by the way, this happens at every club, okay? This really does happen at every club. It's not an Arsenal thing. There are so many reasons why players don't always get the opportunities they deserve at certain clubs. But I remember there being quite a lot of excitement around Biereth. I mean, not like crazy excitement, not like Waneri, Lewis Skelly, Max Dowman, but people were sort of impressed by him. I think he did well in the academy, but for whatever reason, we never even saw him like kind of get like 5 minutes of pre-season football, nothing. Did he go on a few loans? I might be right, but again, I can't remember the leagues he went to. I don't really know kind of what data there was from his loans to suggest that he was maybe ready for playing some football for Arsenal. Anyway, I think he's doing really well now. So he's at Monaco, right? I think he's doing right. Should we see his numbers? Mika Biereth transfer market. But it's like Gnabry as well was another one. I felt that he never really got the chance he deserved at Arsenal. I felt he deserved more of an opportunity. And sometimes that happens with players. Here we go. Oh, wow. 26 goals and 8 assists he's got this season. In Ligue 1, he's got 12 goals and 2 assists in the 11 games he's played there. And he had 11 goals and 5 assists in 16 Bundesliga games. Wow. That's really impressive. Where did they sign him from? Sturmgras, I think. Yeah, because we picked him up from Fulham under 18s. Yeah, I mean, there you go, right? Fair play. He never made an appearance for Arsenal, did he? Let me know in the comment section below if I'm wrong. Pretty sure he never got an appearance, but yeah, sometimes there are youngsters that get away. It's just annoying when it happens to be in the very position we're really looking to strengthen. And Katie's come back and says, yeah, it really surprised me. Biereth never got a chance. I watched him once and could see his talent. Yeah, really strange one. People confirming he never got an opportunity. Fair enough. So there we go. Maybe we go back in for a player like Mika Biereth after all that. But it's just so typical, isn't it? But yeah, Gyokeres is still my favorite player of the ones available. I mean, there's so many to go through. There's Gyokeres around 60 million. There's an Ollie Watkins at around 60 million too, probably. There's a Sesko at probably 50 to 70, something in between that range. There's a release clause for Mateus Cunha. People are talking about Ekitike. Isak, you're not going to get for less than 115 million. And I think it'll probably be more than that if he is even available, and probably not. I just think the market is kind of full of risks, and funny enough, the player that feels that the lowest risk in terms of adding them and hoping that they're going to bang is the one that's going to cost the most money, and that's kind of what you're paying for, right? Ezra asking, James, would you be happy if we got Wirtz and Gyokeres? I'd be over the moon. I think another creator to complement a Rice, an Erdegaard as well. Let Erdegaard be that kind of left day. We've talked about this so many times. But then also have like another outlet of some creativity so that you don't necessarily need your forward. At the moment, our forward always drops in to make the extra midfielder. But someone who's just hanging on the end, or, playing on the last line, making runs in behind, like we saw Trossard do a lot of yesterday, actually. Martinelli did too. I think players that can, almost just focus on, I just want to score goals. And then you get a little bit more creativity around them. Saka's creative numbers are phenomenal. I actually think Martinelli can be better at that than we think. I actually think he's got a decent cross on him. And he's just kind of been a little bit, that part of his game's not been so good for a while. But actually there's plenty of creativity in this team. We invert the left back anyway. So yeah, I would love if we got Wirtz and Gyokeres. I'd absolutely love them. Oh goodness me, James. Why? What have I said? Well, what do you disagree with? Let me know. Well, here you go. We were just talking about Mika Biereth. I mean, DR770 says, James, do you think Arteta should play Nathan Butler or Odeji? And I mean, maybe these youngsters just deserve a chance. I certainly think in certain games, like where we have been, actually, how often are we 3-4 up? PSV, I think we easily could have given more minutes to Butler or Odeji to see kind of what level he's at. But yeah, that didn't happen. Vinny Hendricks. Much love from Sweden, James. Come on, you Gunners. Let me know, Vinny Hendricks. How does Gyokeres compare? Because you'll have no bias. I mean, you'll love Gyokeres and Isak. How do they compare? How are they different? Is Gyokeres anywhere near Isak's level? Do you think he could be better? I mean, by the way, I'm not saying he is, but his numbers are pretty unbelievable. So I'd really love your opinion on that, and obviously anyone else who's either Swedish or knows these players very well. I'd love your thoughts on that. Mavol says that Gyokeres is so complete as a striker, can do everything. Big, fast, strong, good dribbler, can create his own goal, has a free kick in him, great aerial assists as well. Yeah, I got to say the clips, I mean, I need to do some proper scouting on him. But what I really wanted to pay attention on in a video I did on the Gooniverse was looking at his, like, the types of goals he's scoring. So how many of them were for runs in behind? How many of them were against low blocks? How many of them had 4 or less defenders in the penalty area when he scored them? Because that kind of gives you an idea for the openness he's playing up against. And yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that the penalty areas aren't that packed when he's scoring a lot of his goals. In fact, I think, let me just find the exact number. Let me find it. Bear with me 1 second, everyone. Gyokeres. Where is it? Is this it? No. Sorry, I'm trying, because I had some really interesting stats on Gyokeres, but I can't find it. Oh, this is it. So in his 43 goals from his first season, I think I've got it here. 16 of those 43 goals, there was 4 or less defenders in the penalty area. And then the other thing I had was how many were from runs in behind? 9. So that's 25 of his 43 goals. You could argue, there was kind of space to exploit there. How much of that would he get in the Premier League? How much of that would he get playing for Arsenal? Not as much, and that is something to consider. Okay. Vinny Hendricks is replying. I'd say one difference that Gyokeres is a bit more physical. Letting us know how much fair enough. Gyokeres does look the stronger, stockier of the two, but Isak's by no means not strong. I mean, he's slightly more slender, but very, very strong. And a lot of that is because of his kind of just quality on the ball. Sometimes strength from a player comes in their intelligence, the way they use their body. Wes, I've seen your other comment. I know what you meant. James, do you think Arteta's restrictive, negative style of play this season has been purely down to injuries or the way he wants us to play going forward? We became more pragmatic. Let's use that word. We became more pragmatic last season. So I'm inclined to think that he does want to somewhat have his hand on the handbrake a little bit, Mikel. I do think the days of him kind of just really going for it, playing some of the scintillating football of 22-23, I think a lot of that's kind of gone. And by the way, last season in the run-in, I think we played football that was, also very exciting, also electric. I think there's a combination of things. I think there's a lack of player quality in terms of in the attacking third. I think I think coaching's been a part of it. I think the tactics are a part of it. I think we've been found out a little bit, and injuries are going to play a part too. And all of that, it's no great surprise that our football hasn't been quite as good. But Arteta's kind of got to look at why, because, we're second, but, it's not, we've hardly entertained to get to that spot. I mean, I think I saw that after this many games in Emery's first season, we actually had more points than Emery's. So, it's been a very, very strange Premier League campaign. Prithviraj says Tierney for Lewis Skelly, Tierney Marte partnership looked blazing. I said they did look good, didn't they? I got to give credit. Both of them came off the bench and made a real impact. So fair play to them. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how it could and should look. You got the you got a pitch there with plenty of players, and we're going to just start building our 11, everyone. Now, if you'll just excuse me a sec, what I can do is just try and make my screen a bit smaller there. All right, there's the tactical pad. Because what I want to do this, but also sort of see what you guys are saying and get your thoughts. Okay, I can flip from one to the other easy. Nice. Yeah, obviously, Neto in goal to kick things off. Look, Raya's going to start. There we go. And that's a bit annoying because we want his name. So let's get it in. Right. David Raya obviously starts in goal. And the back four immediately becomes interesting because the players we've got available are White, Timber, Saliba, Kivior, Lewis Skelly. Do you know what? Tierney looked good. And Lewis Skelly's played a lot of football. Let's start at right back. I'm going to ask you guys what you do at right back, this area here, and I'll go with the most votes. I mean, you guys are building the 11. So go with your right back. I know it's going to be White or Timber. Who starts at right back? By the way, if you're thinking that one of the others is going to play centre back, that's fine. We'll get to centre back in a sec. But let me know in the comments right now who starts at right back for you. We've got, they're all flying. So started early with Ben White, but Timber. Yeah, you've all gone Timber. Wow. Okay, cool. Well, Duran Timber is our starting right back. Let's build the rest of the back four, and then I'll kind of talk about my thoughts around all this. Okay, I'm going to be very pedantic now. I'm going to ask you all who you want right centre back. Literally there. Saliba or Ben White? Get it in the comments. Let me know. Some people getting their full back fours in. Some people want Timber centre back. I hear that. I mean, one of the reasons I've set Timber centre back and White right back is because then Timber maybe has more of a job on Mbappe. And I think he's slightly quicker than Ben White. So I kind of like that matchup. And also Ben White's dynamism and, the football he plays with Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard on the right. I think that's something you kind of, it's one of our best attacking threats. He seems to bring the best out of Saka and Odegaard. Who are you guys going for? Oh, okay. Wow. Comments are flying in. Fair play. And it's really, really mixed. White, Saliba, White, Saliba, White. Oh my gosh. They're absolutely flying in. White. Some saying Partey. Do you know what? I think Saliba's. Oh no! Every time I can't tell who's won this. I think White has. I think White's nicked it. So basically, what you're all saying, people, is that you want this. You want White, Saliba, as your two centre backs for the game. Yeah, people are asking for a poll. This is so embarrassing. I don't know how to run a poll. Yeah, I'm really sorry because they can be done. I just don't know how. Don't spam poll. I can't set one up. So this is interesting. So all of you basically want. In fact, give me a left back, Lewis Kelly or Tierney. Let's build the rest of the back four. What are we all going for? Lewis Kelly or Tierney? No, as far as I'm aware, Calafiore is not back yet. But that would be the answer, wouldn't it? That would be the answer. And yeah, we'll sort of discuss this a little bit. I mean, you could easily play Timber centre back. Lewis Kelly, MLS. Do you know what? I'm not going to waste time with this one. I think you've all agreed. Lewis Kelly. So let's just move Kivior and Tierney aside for a second and talk about them. So this is the back four that you guys want to go with against Real Madrid. You know, we could do some cool little analysis. Look at that. That's your back four. I'm sort of the thing about this particular back four is I think you could. Let's get rid of this. Right. The thing with this particular back four is I think you could argue that you've basically got your four of your five best defenders on the pitch. I mean, Gabriel missing is a huge blow, and there's probably no better defender. There's probably no better defensive player in our squad than Gabriel Magalhaes. But without him, I think Lewis Skelly, Saliba, White, and Timber, if I had to rank of all our defenders who I kind of trusted to hold out, to see out at Real Madrid, it'd probably be those four. I have Lewis Skelly above. I have Lewis Skelly above Calafiore. I do. And then Timber, White, Saliba speaks for itself. Now, why are you guys not going for Kivior? I mean, I know why. Sorry, I know if this is frozen, is it? Apologies, everyone. It's not letting me move the players. Oh, don't do this. It was going so well. Right. Let me remove this from the screen. See if we can fix this. Right. But let me know why not Kivior in the comments. My thing with Kivior is, oh, there we go. Is this back? Nope. Still not back. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to. Oh. Aha. It's because I was on the wrong setting. My bad. The thing with Kivior is he's the next left-sided centre back in our squad behind Gabriel. Well, behind Gabriel and Calafiore. And he gives us a balance. So when he's out in that area, the angles are good. Because we do need to try to get on the ball and play through Real Madrid as well. And Arteta did sign him. He does have to back him in some way. He does this thing, Kivior, when kind of Lewis Skelly is inverting over here. He does this thing. If we just give him a ball. Here we go. Now let's get an Arsenal player on the pitch. Let's get Martinelli. Martinelli can you all see all this? Yeah. Martinelli will often just be playing on the line and he'll make a darting run because Kivior's just curled a ball over the top like that. And actually he finds Martinelli like a bit quicker and a bit better than actually most other players in our squad I've noticed. Let's move that there. I actually think he plays that ball over the top, in behind into threats, in behind like Trossard against Everton, more than maybe Gabriel does. I mean, Gabriel can ping that ball over the top to Trossard. We have seen that. But Kivior does a really good job of it. And I think for the sake of having a left footer and trying to kind of harm Real Madrid in some way, Kivior can help with that. But I just don't think it's worth it. I think great. He gives us one pass in behind. Like great. There's kind of one thing he does a bit better than others. The point is he's got to try and shut out Mbappe Rodrigo, Vinicius, Bellingham, Modric, Valverde, Camavinga, Chouameni. I just don't. Who have I forgot? Goulet, Endrick. I just don't think it matters. The other, I forget his name. The guy was at Man City and AC Milan. I forgot his name. Diaz? Is it Diaz? I can't remember. Yeah, I exactly. This comment here says it. That's all good, but you can't defend first. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of pointless, isn't it? It's all well and good, but ultimately we need to shut out Madrid. Who said Luis Skelly's immature? Who said that? 'Cause I think he's an incredibly mature player. Yeah. Who kind of said that? Because the way you framed that comment, Brahim Diaz, that was it. Yeah, the way you framed that comment, making it sound like I'd said it. I don't think. I think he's an incredibly mature footballer. So yeah, let me know who you're talking about there. Oh, sorry, it's a comment above. Yeah, there's a comment from Thato in the comments. No, I disagree. I think he's a very mature player. All good. Right. Should we build our midfield, everyone? That's the back four you've all agreed with. Can I just actually suggest one thing though? What if we did this? What if it was White left centre back? Just because I think he's a bit better on the ball than Saliba. And when Luis Skelly's inverting and that back three has to split, I like the idea of it going to Ben White there, not Saliba. I like the idea of Saliba in case we lose it, just still being central, still being at the heart of it. And also you're not messing around with his position as much. You've kind of only got one player at a position. So I think that would be my vote, I think I'd go White left centre-back and Saliba right centre-back. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Right, let's build the rest of this team. Move Lewis Skelly back there. Sorry, my OCD means I want it all perfectly positioned. Cool. Some people are agreeing that they put White left centre back. Is Timber both footed? I've never really seen him use his left. The one thing about White, Saliba, and Timber is neither of them have really stood out to me as particularly both footed. Saliba once spread an amazing pass with his left foot against Fulham away. Do you remember we scored that great goal and basically we played all that football? They pressed us all the way back to the goal line and then Saliba just pinged one over. It was an unbelievable kick. That's kind of the best I've seen. I just think White's slightly more technical and we'll be able to kind of work those angles a bit better. The midfield. Let's do it. So the options available are Partey, Ødegaard, Rice, Marino, Jorginho, Waneri. We've basically got all six of our midfielders fit. And we know that Partey has been... there we go. We know that Partey has been an ever-present in this Arsenal team. He's been good this season. And I think the expectation is that the midfield looks something like that. But did any of these players here, in Jorginho, Waneri, and Marino, have they done anything to convince you that they maybe deserve a place in this midfield? Let's make a case for the three of them. Starting with Jorginho, probably the toughest player to make a case for here. But I think Jorginho, experience, been there and done it. I think when he gets on the ball and he's kind of running the show, could be top. But I wouldn't be starting him in this game. I think they've got too much physicality in their midfield. I think he'd really struggle when their kind of forwards drop into the pockets. I think Jorginho is someone you can bring on if you've got a lead to hold on to and in those kind of tighter spaces when we're kind of in a real low block, two banks of four. I think he can be kind of, someone who's useful to bring on to kind of see a game out, maybe get us on the ball. Maybe, in fact, Jorginho's just kind of useful sub. Even if we need a goal with 20 minutes to go, you kind of hope he can pick out a pass. So Jorginho doesn't start for me. Waneri, I think his future's in the front three, and I like that Arteta's been playing that. I like that Arteta rotated and went with Rice, Jorginho, Marino as his midfield three, as opposed to kind of playing Marino up front, Sterling on the right, and then dropping Waneri into midfield, because I actually think kind of Waneri out on the right is where he should be kind of playing his football and developing. The argument for playing Waneri in midfield would simply be that Ødegaard hasn't been good enough. But I think you've got to get Ødegaard in this team. I think in the hope that he kind of sort of reaches the levels that we know he can do, because when he can, then he's one of our best players and he can really hurt Madrid. Give me your midfield three, guys? Put in the comments your full midfield threes and let me know. The Marino one's really interesting, because what you could do is this. Oh, let me get rid of all that. And if you're talking really worrying about their physicality, then you maybe do that. I mean, if you're really worried, you do this. But I mean, it's not miles off something Arteta would do. I mean, I think he started with this at Brighton away, didn't he? So, I think you could, if you basically just want to completely dominate the midfield and try and bully Real Madrid. But I think you've got to have Ødegaard in there. So the question is, how do you guys feel about this midfield? Rice, Marino, Ødegaard. We saw it end the game against Everton. I thought Marino had a really good game against Everton. I thought defensively, winning headers on the ball. I thought he showed plenty of class. Actually, I thought he did well. And I think as a kind of left eight, bombing up and down the pitch, hitting that back post, I definitely think he offers something in terms of a threat there, probably more than even Declan Rice does. I also think he underlaps and has the kind of better, we keep using the word angles. When he makes that run, I think with his left foot, he's got a better just sort of sight of the box there. But I just don't think we can drop Partey when he's been significantly more consistent than Marino this season. And actually, I think he will help us try beat a Real Madrid press and try get us on the ball. It means that Rice is playing left 8, and I don't think he's looked as comfortable there as he did for a lot of last season. Sorry, the sun's going down, so the lighting's all a bit off. What are your midfields? Let me know. I'm gonna scroll to the comments. Yeah, I mean, people, you can laugh at this, me saying bully Real Madrid, but we've got to do something. I mean, Stoke never had better footballers on the pitch than Arsenal, but they bullied us. I'm not saying we go full Stoke. I'm just saying sometimes you've got to play to your strengths. And one of our strengths is the physicality of our midfield. It's the power we have at times. In fact, our whole team is really physical, really strong, really tall. It's why I'd rather go for Timber and White in the same back four than play Kivior, because I think one thing we could maybe do with Real Madrid is try and match them, if not beat them physically. So I think we might have to try do that. Now, some people might just say we'll play Marino up front, hence you don't want him in midfield. But people are giving shouts. Waneri, Rice, Ødegaard. Fair enough. Yeah, I agree. There's no need for 3 sort of defense midfielders, 3 more physically imposing midfielders. Without Partey, we'll suffer in midfield. Do you even watch Marino? Yeah, I do, and I quite like the player. Like, I think he's just someone that is a perfectly good squad player. But we hoped he was going to be the starting left 8, and he's not quite proved that. Partey, Rice, Ødegaard. I would drop Ødegaard, but that's just me. Who's this? Sorry, who's the player of the season that I'm removing? And yeah, more shouts for Partey, Rice, Ødegaard, Rice, Partey, Waneri. Yeah, I think it is this midfield that you guys all want to see, and it's I'm trying to just go with what you guys are voting in the comments, but I think this is the midfield I want to see as well. I don't know why. I just have slightly more evidence with the run in last season, and also with their individual performances over the last 2-3 years at Arsenal. I think that's the best midfield we can get to on the pitch. And then when you look at the 6 midfielders we've got there, Rice, Partey, Ødegaard, Marino, Jorginho, Waneri, and I asked you all, who of those 6 players, which 3 have shown the best levels at Arsenal at any point? whether it be this season, whether it be over the last few years. And there's no question it's Rice, Partey, and Odegaard. When all 6 of them are at their very best, that is the best midfield we can put out. And I think we've got to, whether Odegaard's at it or not, whether Partey needs a bit more protection, whether Rice isn't suited to the left 8, whatever it might be, we need to get, I think, the best potential of players we can on the pitch. When everyone's at their best, who is going to hurt Real? And I think that's the midfield 3 for me. And people are obviously talking about Trossard in the 9. So let's do it. Trossard versus Marino, because what I won't do is waste your time with this one. I think we all agree that Saka and Martinelli are going to start. So Marino, let's take Jorginho and Waneri out. And you got Trossard. Who is it? Get your comments in, people, while I drink some water. Just put the name. Trossard or Marino. Interesting. Some people saying Ethan. Trossard. Okay, let's see. Let's make sure I don't miss any. We've got Trossard. Trossard. I think a few of them come from the same person, though. Not Trossard. For fuck's sake. Trossard. Marino. Trossard. Marino for me. Marino. Ethan. AFC FTBL 25. I think you really want Trossard because you've probably commented it about 15 times. So thank you. I appreciate it. But I've got you voting. Don't worry. Marino. I think I'll just put on Marino for physical. Marino. Trossard, Marino. Trossard, Marino. Do you know, I think Marino might have nicked it, No, there's loads of Trossards coming in now. This is tough, Wow, loads of comments coming in. We really need to get a poll going. How do I get a poll? Right, hold on. Let me see how to do a poll on YouTube live comments. I think we might need a poll. I think that's the only way we're going to decide this. The bottom of your chat window. Okay, I might be able to do this. Bear with me 1 second, people. Let's have a little look. Yeah, no, I'm not logged in. Oops. Damn, a poll would have been good. Sorry about that, guys. Should we just let's discuss the pros and cons of both? Okay, let's start with Marino. He's been scoring goals. We can't ignore that. He's been a legitimate threat when the service has been there. I actually think he's been really efficient with his striking, with his movement. His finishing has been he scored some really well taken goals. I don't think Havertz, Jesus, Martinelli, other forwards in our squad, I don't think they take every chance that Marino has taken with the goals he scored. I think he's been really efficient in front of goal. I think he can really do a job as a box-to-box midfielder, attacking the area in the way Granit Xhaka did at the end of last season. I think that's something I have to work on in pre-season a little bit to get him kind of more up to speed with that. But he's definitely more of a presence. He's definitely more physical. He's definitely going to be good for set pieces, attacking them and defending them. I think he means we can go a little bit more direct and play over Real Madrid. He'll work bloody hard. We know that. I don't see him bullying their centre-backs in any way. I don't see him kind of out-muscling them and kind of, giving them a torrid time in that sense. I think he'll have to be quite clever. He'll use his physicality to be a nuisance maybe and to maybe get on the end of some crosses and stuff. But I don't see him bullying the Madrid centre-backs. I think those are kind of the positive. The drawbacks for me is I don't think, that goal on the counter-attack we scored against Everton, I don't think he scores that goal. I think Trossard is the one who can give us a threat with a run in behind, who can actually make us a little bit better on counter-attacks. I think Marino also just lacks a little bit of guile in that position for me. look, I think he's got probably more of that kind of guile and movement. I mean, a lot of people think Mourinho's quite wooden. I don't think he is. I think he's quite, that kind of like, that inability to kind of move and flow with the ball. A lot of people, I think he's just not really got that. I think he's actually got more of that than we think. And I think he's shown that at times in little bursts and stuff. I think he can be quite good in tight space and show a little drop of the shoulder and show sort of some real kind of class and elegance in possession. I think up front, though, you're kind of doing it to try turn past the defender or try, I don't know, could make some space for a shot. And to be fair, he did it with a goal against Fulham, didn't he? But I'm just not convinced he's kind of got that in the way Trossard does. If we take him out for a sec, we put Trossard there. Trossard as a false nine has been very hit and miss. I think we've gone through a really great run with him as the false nine before. That was in the 22-23 season, and I think he was brilliant in that position. I think what he also does is he gets into these pockets a little bit more and allows Ødegaard to float a bit. And I could basically see a world in which Arsenal are trying to hurt Madrid. If we just take Mourinho out completely, actually, I could see Arsenal trying to hurt Madrid with something like this. Do you know what? Actually, this is my favoured system looking at it now. I think you could do something where you've got your back three that you kind of trust defensively, certainly, and tell Rice to stick close to Partey and to cover in this left centre-back area. We're a bit exposed, especially if Lewis Skelly's going to advance. Now, normally we'd invert the left back into this area, but let Lewis Skelly go a little bit beyond. Let him kind of venture into this area so Martinelli can drop in, or just get in the pockets. And then what you actually have, let's just move these players up a little bit more. Timber White. What I think you could end up with is like a 5 that you basically just trust defensively. And let's use a different color. Let's use a lighter blue. And then an attacking 5 that you go, that's probably the 5 most technical players we can get on the pitch right now. Saka, Ødegaard, Trossard, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli. All trying to find some quality, all trying to pick off Real Madrid, to find that kind of, you've got your kind of more resilient defensive 5 who can all play, don't get me wrong. But if you're able to, feed in the pockets there, can Lewis Skelly make the kind of runs that Tierney was making, on his left foot supporting? I like the way Tierney was getting up and down the other day. Do you know what? That I think that's how I'd play it, I did a video on the Gyokeres and I was sort of talking about it out loud. This was yesterday after the Everton game. And I said that this was the 11 I'd go with in this way. But I also didn't, I'm depicting it now here on this live stream. I'm actually realizing how much I think you've got a real balance between trying to stop what Real Madrid can do, but also trying to hurt them as well. Let's get to your comments. Let's get your thoughts. But to sum up, let's get rid of all this. Oh, no. Boom. My 11, our 11, your 11, actually, because I went for the players that you guys voted for, albeit we didn't do it with a poll, was Timber, Saliba, White, Lewis Skelly, Rice, and Ødegaard. And there's your front 3. Saka. Sorry, Ødegaard, Partey, Rice. Saka, Trossard, Martinelli. What do we think? Can that hurt Madrid? Let me know your thoughts. Swap Timber and White, people are saying. White left centre-back is wild. Yeah, with this they can win. Saka or Martinelli down the middle. DG2 says Mourinho's actually very good in the air. We can also play in the wingers. What else we got? Yeah, who sounds better versus Rudiger? To be honest, I don't think you want to get into the physical battle with him. So maybe Trossard. Avoid the physical battle. Just try play through Real Madrid. Yeah, this is a good point. As bad as Ødegaard's been, he's been important for us off the ball, which is why he can't be dropped. Yeah, that is part of it. But also, I just think we're otherwise hoping that Ethan Nwaneri can do the business if we don't play Ødegaard, or we're going Rice, Partey, and Mourinho, and that just feels a bit too defensive for me. All right, there we go. What's this? Your formation is fine, but Martinelli might not play for the 90, and Trossard might not play for the 90, so it'll be wise to start one and one comes on from the bench, Marino starts. An interesting way to look at it, because I think with those players starting, I think the players off the bench you could bring on are Kivior, Tierney to see it out, Zinchenko, but I don't have him here because I don't think I don't think there's any chance he was going to start. Tierney to whip a ball into the box to a Marino, you could do that. Waneri, we know, has got some quality. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not a set of subs I'm particularly happy with, but they could maybe do something. All right, there we go. Let me just get rid of this. That was don't want to. Let's just put this aside for a sec. Sorry, it's asked me if I want to save that 11. There we go. Let's go through your super chats. And then we'll have a little look at the Premier League table quickly. Just see where the weekend's action and that draw has left us. Did I read this one over, Prithviraj? Timber, Saliba, White, KT would be your back four. So White left centre back, interesting. Partey and Rice double pivot and attack with a fullback. Yeah, I like that. Erdegaard must stay up and link with the wingers for chance creation. Sometimes he forget that and plays like a CDM in our half. That's interesting. So what you would do is not have an inverted left back. You'd have Tierney bomb me up and down and ask Martinez to tuck in a little bit more. Yeah, I think you could do that. Isn't Timber injured? No, he came on against Everton. He's all good. So is Ben White, which is very, very important. Yeah. White against Vinicius would be stupid. Yeah, I think if we're talking about dealing with their wingers one-on-one, I think I'm inclined to go for Timber at fullback and White left centre-back, like I was talking about earlier. But yeah, very difficult. Would you take Welbeck back? He'd start for us right now. If I could have Welbeck right now in this Arsenal team, see out the season, he would start for us 100%. But no, I don't think we should be looking to bring him back in the summer, if that's what you're asking. Okay, other thing I want to do then is quickly chat about the Premier League table. And I'm just going to get it in front of us now. Here we go. All right, can you all see this? Boom. I don't like it like that. There we go. I prefer it like that. Okay. So Liverpool lost. I always had Fulham away when we were looking at the running back when we actually thought there was a chance of winning this league. Which, to be fair, not a lot of people did think that, and rightly so. But I remember thinking that Fulham away one would be tough. Fulham have given some really good games over the years, and actually they've got a real range of chance creators, whether it be the overlapping fullback and Robinson, whether it be some more direct wingers. But they've got the likes of Iwobi and like Traore, for example. I think you've got Iwobi and Smith Rowe can do things. Pereira in there too. They've got some good midfielders. Berger and Lukic are good players. Berger or Berg or Berge? Berge or Sander Berger? I can't remember. Anyway, Muniz and Raul Jimenez. I mean, both of them again would probably start for Arsenal right now. So I thought they could hurt Liverpool, but we never did anywhere near enough. Funny thing is, it'd be 9 points with 7 games to play if we'd beaten Everton, which is still too far. But it's like, do you know what I mean? I would have paid that little bit more attention to whatever Liverpool had next, just because you're like, okay, well, one more bad result and it's 6. You never know. But Arsenal have never shown the consistency. They've never shown the consistency to be champions. I mean, Liverpool here have. It's only the second game they've lost all season. I think we lost 3 by mid-March, and we've been losing about 4 or 5 seasons. I actually thought us, drawing more games and not losing them was going to do us a favour and just get points on the ball. And I think it has in terms of keeping us away from a lot of these sides, but never enough for the title. We won 17 out of our 31 games, and it's just not good enough. Thank you for all telling me how to pronounce it. I appreciate it because I wasn't sure. Yeah. So Forest lost at Villa, so we technically gained a point on them. Chelsea. What did Chelsea do this weekend? Oh, they drew at Brentford today. Okay. Fine, interesting. And City just drew what was one of the worst derbies I've ever seen in my life. Listen, Arsenal are hardly lighting up the league with their football, so I'm not going to be too critical. But that game was shocking between United and City. So was Tottenham Chelsea in the week. So was Arsenal Everton. Been a lot of. I don't think. How was the Liverpool? How's the Merseyside derby? I can't quite remember. We basically had 3 derbies this week. The Merseyside derby, a London derby between Tottenham and Chelsea, and then a Manchester derby, and they were 1-0, 1-0, 0-0. I'm getting football fatigue, and I think these players are fatigued, man. Look at the hamstring injuries. Look at the amount of surgeries for hamstrings. Look at the amount of injuries in general. Look at just the product, the energy, the levels are low. I mean, Liverpool haven't actually been in a great run recently, and they are, still like miles clear. Fair play to them. Absolutely deserve it. But it's not. I've struggled with the Premier League this season. I really do have to say that. So yeah, 26 goals conceded for Arsenal, still the fewest. So there we go. But it's this problem: we don't score enough goals. Well, they were 1 behind City, but City have been poor this season. But we should be. Everyone always says that Forest are a counter-attacking side. We scored 5 goals more than Forest. Really something we need to address in the window. If I just remove this for a second, I just want to look at the Premier League results. So I'm pretty confident about securing second place, to be honest. I don't think we're sort of in any danger of that. I think if Forest and City had won, then that becomes a little bit uncomfortable. Chelsea too, but they all drop points as well. So nothing really changed there at all. If anything, the 2nd to 5th all, I think, gained a point on Liverpool, which no one was expecting. So Arsenal drew 1-1 with Everton. What were the match stats from this game? Yeah, I've got to say, we're recording for Arsenal tonight. I didn't, and I'm not just saying this for stats, I didn't think we were bad at all. I think the penalty was nonsense. And I think on another day, that's a pretty decent away performance. But in the context of our season and the problems we've been having, struggling to break teams down, felt like more of the same. Good turnaround for Wolves. Palace beat Brighton. I think Eddie Nketiah got sent off, didn't he? Yeah, Eddie Nketiah did. Very late. As did Van Hecker. I need to go watch all these highlights. What are the results we had? What is going on? Sorry. Bournemouth have been a bit of a slump recently, but they drew 2-2 at West Ham. Villa beat Forest 2-1. So actually, I want to see how the Champions League race hotting up. Tottenham beat Southampton 3-1. Then a couple more 0-0s and all action was at Craven Cottage. Let me just get the table up again. So who's making Champions League football? 5th will probably get Champions League. It hasn't been confirmed that 5th gets Champions League football. Villa have gone knocking. Look at that. Villa were 9th or 10th a couple weeks ago, or a couple game weeks ago. And Bournemouth were, I think, 4th. Look how quickly things change in football. Wow. Crystal Palace have really climbed up too. They've got a game in hand. If they win that, they go above Bournemouth. They can go to 46 points. They'll be chasing down Brighton. And, if it's Champions League up to 5th, Europa League, I think, are those next 2. So 8th might get you Conference League. Southampton did get relegated today, you're right, with 10 points. I mean, they might. What was Derby's? What was that Derby season? Did they get 11 points? I think that was the lowest. Have a look. And Ramsdale relegated. They got Villa at home, West Ham away, Fulham at home, Leicester away, City at home, Everton away, Arsenal at home. I think there's honestly there's a very real chance they don't win another game. There's a very real chance they don't pick up another point. Yeah, very disappointing for Southampton and for Aaron Ramsey. I like Southampton. Anyway, yeah, there was some scenario the Premier League posted on their website, I think, where basically I think everyone from 1st to 10th could get European football, depending on who wins the cup, who wins the Europa League, Champions League, and things like that. There'll be like a knock-on effect that will kind of get more Premier League clubs into Europe. But yeah, we're well represented across Europe. We just need to, I think we just need to be, as in England, the Premier League is well represented across Europe. But who's your best hope at Man City and Liverpool are out the Champions League. I don't think Arsenal will do anything. Villa, you never know. Emery has done things in Europe, hasn't he? Chelsea will win the Conference League. I think United or Tottenham, one of them will win the Europa League. So yeah, could get interesting. I think we will have an English team actually in the Super Cup, the European Super Cup. But let's see. All right, everyone, going to round it off there. Big thanks for joining me on the live. We built the 11 you want to see for the Madrid game. We just covered the Premier League weekend's action and talked a little bit about Gyokeres as well, whose agent could be going to the Real Madrid game. So yeah, anyway, going to leave it there. Big thanks for joining us. There'll be another live tomorrow at 7, and then the day after that, it's Real Madrid. Catch you in a bit.
We have a very exciting opportunity for you Gooners. Bet365, the official global partner of the UEFA Champions League, are hosting a massive event this Saturday at Potters Fields Park near Tower Bridge, where you have the chance to bag yourself tickets for either Arsenal versus Real Madrid next week or Aston Villa versus PSG on the 15th of April in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals.
Bet365 will be hosting a physical version of their big ticket giveaway competition from 4 p.m. on Saturday,
which will include an appearance by club legend Sol Campbell and the famous UEFA Champions League trophy.
So all you need to do is head down to Tower Bridge, give a game a go, 25 and over only, and ID verification is required.
This promotion is available on a limited first-come, first-served basis and closes at earliest 8 p.m. on the 5th of April or when the promoter announces that all prizes have been claimed.
Take part and guess all 4 probabilities correctly for a chance to win 1 of 6 pairs of tickets to select the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal UK matches.
Prizes are non-transferable. You've got to be 18 plus for photographs with the UEFA Champions League trophy, and full terms and conditions apply, and you must gamble responsibly.